So we're tracking fog during the overnight and early morning start tomorrow. Dense fog advisory across our entire viewing area goes into effect at midnight, remains in place until 10 a.m. Notice here with our futurecast fog how fog will start to increase along our coastal parishes and then kind of stretch into Acadiana as we make our way through the morning, through the evening and into the overnight. Now, once we get closer to midnight, fog will kind of overspread Metro Baton Rouge and surrounding parishes here within our viewing area, and that fog will remain in place as we make our way into the morning start. There may be some breaks here and there, so that's why we're calling for pockets of dense fog to be problematic for our day on Wednesday. Fog will clear out as we get towards those mid-morning hours, so once we get past 10 o'clock expiration of that dense fog advisory, we shouldn't have any visibility issues, but the fog returns as we go into Thursday, and it looks like Thursday could even be more widespread and persistent through the night. So we'll have areas of dense fog once again for Thursday morning. Expect another dense fog advisory once the National Weather Service kind of updates their forecast a little bit closer to that. The second thing we're going to be tracking is our next cold front. That is not expected to arrive, though, until we get towards the end of the week into the weekend. So here's a look at futurecast. We're going to fast forward to 9 a.m. on Thursday morning. You can see how we get a few showers maybe starting to spark off here Thursday afternoon. That's because we're continuing to increase moisture levels. Notice the wind streams here kind of coming in off the Gulf. So we're slowly increasing moisture. We just need that trigger, and that trigger is going to come in the form of this front. It's going to help add lift to the atmosphere. So by Friday morning, showers and thunderstorms starting to erupt, and you can see how we get towards the afternoon hours, still more showers and storms. So will we get some prefrontal individualized showers and thunderstorms? That's a big question mark. Possibility here of some weak rotation with some of those, and then what looks to be a line of storms kind of forming out ahead of the front. That could have more of a straight line damaging wind threat. So we're trying to isolate what factors, what issues we could see in terms of severe weather threat as we go Friday into early Saturday. But the bottom line is once we get past, say, sunrise on Saturday, severe weather threat will come to an end. Maybe not the end of rain chances. They may linger into the afternoon and evening. Some residual moisture could be in place, and the clouds, they're going to be slow to clear through the weekend, but temperatures are going to be starting to fall as we look towards the weekend. So if you're not a fan of these warmer than normal temperatures we're dealing with right now, good news is we've got some chill headed your way by the time we get towards the weekend. So here's the outline from the National Weather Service in terms of that slight risk of severe weather. So it's a 2 out of 5 on the threat scale. Certainly not a guarantee. Officially from 6 a.m. Friday to 6 a.m. Saturday, but more likely for us Friday afternoon, Friday night, and then into very early Saturday morning. As it stands right now, let's call it a damaging wind threat being the primary issue, but we can't rule out a brief isolated tornado. Possibility could still exist that we could see some pockets of hail embedded within some of the stronger thunderstorms. Again, this is not a guarantee, not a certainty that we're going to see severe weather, but certainly some of the atmospheric parameters are setting themselves up, it looks like, for at least 1 or 2 strong, possibly severe storms embedded within some of this clustering and lines of storms that could develop. The model that I showed you, the European, suggesting we could see some widespread 1+ inch rainfall totals, but only has some isolated pockets of 2+ inch. That's the bright green shade of color, while the GFS considerably less in terms of rain amounts, less than 1 inch of rainfall on average across our viewing area. So we still got to fine tune the rain amounts, but it doesn't look like either one really suggesting flood concerns, at least at this time. So the mild air is in place. It's going to stay in place all the way until we get this front through, and you can see how we get that dip in the jet stream. And then here comes that cold Canadian air starting to get pulled down as we get towards the weekend and beginning of next week. And notice how the blue shades of color kind of hanging around. So we're going to see those cooler than normal temperatures, it looks like, into a good chunk of next week. So that first alert highlight for Friday to account for some of that active weather threat as it stands right now, lingering rains into Saturday. And then here comes the cool down heading into next week.